I held up the photo along with the 2 keychains in front of the phone camera. The person in it looked exactly like Fo Lon Ton, everyone could see it clearly. I asked him, "In Thatch Tin's dance studio, why is there a keychain with your image?" The comments exploded instantly. "Oh my god. It's getting more terrifying by the minute. So what's happening? Did the host team up with her best friend to kill this beauty? Was the whole borrowing life to revive thing just a trap for her? This is a horror story unfolding. I want to go back to the countryside. My mind is lagging. Should we call 110? Is it just me who notices the photo? The girl in the picture looks a lot like the ghost from earlier." Fo Lon Ton frowned slightly but didn't say anything more. At that moment, I suddenly heard Thatch Tin knocking on the door, her voice returning to its gentle tone. "Nin Noyet, where are you? Open the door, hurry. Are you in danger? I went to the bathroom earlier but didn't see you. I thought you went to throw out the trash, but when I went downstairs, the security guard said he hadn't seen you come out. Now the floor is covered in blood and broken glass. What on earth happened?" The online community chimed in again. "Sister, remember to hide well, don't go outside. I think the host and her best friend are in cahoots. But her best friend seems fine now, maybe she really is looking for her. What if the host and this beauty are the true accomplices?" My mind was in chaos, and the spirit tempted me to open the door. Fo Lon Ton shouted, "If you want to die, go ahead and open the door. She's not really Thatch Tin. Thatch Tin is blocking me downstairs. We know each other, but it's not what you think. First, find something flammable to escape this danger, then we can talk." In the end, I made up my mind. Let's consider this a gamble. If I survive, everything will be fine. If not, I'll just leave it to fate. I cover. Flammable object. Suddenly, I realized that the lighter and the book were indeed flammable. I tried to continue burning the book, but no matter how I tried, I couldn't get the lighter to ignite. Outside, the sharp, terrifying scratching noise continued, and 2 voices merged together. Nin Noyet, open the door. You can't escape, you can't escape." The 2 voices blended together, sounding like Thatch Tin and the ghost, whispering like evil spirits in my ear. The wardrobe door was about to be smashed down. Now there were only 5 minutes left until 2 a.m. In panic, I kept trying to light the lighter. Finally, when a lightning bolt struck, the lighter ignited, and the book began to catch fire. At that moment, a familiar crackling sound echoed. The comments went wild. "Sister, look up. Above your head. She's right above you, bleeding. Sister, run. She's about to lunge at you." The blood in my veins felt like it had frozen. Looking up, I saw the red-dressed ghost, with a long tongue sticking out, clinging to the ceiling, her bloody hands ready to pounce on me. In an instant, she triumphantly twisted her head 180 degrees, revealing a large gaping hole filled with congealed blood. "Hey!" I screamed in desperation again. With a loud crash, the flames around me blazed stronger, as if something was about to collapse. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the dance studio. I fell into a completely different place, pitch black, like the haunted cave in a drama. I didn't care anymore and desperately crawled inside. But the cold, slimy feeling around my ankles quickly enveloped me. "Don't dream of escaping, this is your fate. You can never hope to escape." I turned back to look, and Thatch Tin had merged with the ghost. It was still 2 voices, but it had transformed into a half-human, half-ghost monster. Just as I was about to throw my phone to stop her, suddenly a pair of hands appeared to hold me back. Fo Lon Ton turned around and pulled me out of the cave. In the blink of an eye, I was back in the bedroom. He seemed to sense my doubts. "I just destroyed 3 eyes of the formation in this neighborhood. She has no choice but to merge with the ghost. But this won't last long. When the dark energy is at its peak, she'll still be able to break free. So what do we do now? The only way now is to find that red dress. It is both a conduit and her life anchor." I still didn't fully trust him. "You and Thatch Tin, along with my ex-boyfriend Sojung, knew each other before, right?" Fo Lon Ton seemed surprised that I clung to this answer. His voice was very complicated. I, Thatch Tin and Sojung, along with his first love, were all students at the Taoist Academy. Sojung's first love is Thatch Tin's sister. Originally, Sojung and his first love had discussed marriage, but due to work disagreements, they broke up. After that, she jumped off a building in a red wedding dress to commit suicide. Thatch Tin couldn't accept this reality, so she searched everywhere for a way to revive her sister. The borrowing of life to revive was mentioned by our teacher by chance. It's unexpected that Thatch Tin took it seriously and used the red wedding dress to kill people. If we want to escape from this, we must find that red wedding dress and burn it. Only then can we safely leave this place. Upon hearing this, I was both surprised and angry. Because of my fate and my relationship with Sojung, I had become their unlucky human tool. Just now, I had been so focused on escaping that I hadn't paid attention to where she had left the red dress I had changed out of. Now searching for it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. Suddenly, a loud noise came from outside the bedroom, accompanied by Thatch Tin's threatening voice, which was neither human nor ghostly. You usually get along very well with her. Think carefully about where that dress could be hidden. Fo Lon Ton tried his best to block the sound. I looked around the bedroom, and suddenly my eyes were drawn to the cross-stitch picture on the wall. When I first visited Thatch Tin's house, she said she felt regret that we met too late. At that moment, I wished I could treat her like family. Later, when I learned that she liked things with an antique style, I saved a few months' worth of salary to buy her a cross-stitch picture. On the day I hung up the picture, she was very excited. The most beautiful things should be hung on the wall, like stars, and you are as beautiful as one. At that time, I replied to her, well, one day when I die, you should hang me up so I can experience the feeling of being a star, huh? But I never expected those words would turn prophetic. Both absurd and coincidental. I thought of a way to destroy the cross-stitch picture but discovered that the dress had deformed. At this moment, the red dress exuded a foul black aura, covered in filth hair, and even the eyes of a person. It no longer had the dazzling beauty it once had. Just remembering that a few hours ago I had worn it made my scalp tingle. Struggling to endure the nauseating revulsion, I grabbed the dress and intended to throw it to Fo Lon Ton. With a loud bang, Fo Lon Ton fell to the ground, unable to get up. Thatch Tin, now half human half ghost, burst in with a flood of hatred, her hair in disarray, and her eyes constantly bleeding, racing towards me. Nin Noyet, give me back my dress. She was getting closer. Hurry and give it to me. My body felt weak, and I knew I was no match for her. This was the 18th floor. If I jumped down, I would definitely be smashed to pieces. But if I didn't jump, I would forever be trapped in this illusion. I gently closed my eyes. Just as she charged toward me, I resolutely jumped down. Indeed, the sound of howling wind filled the air around me. But when I hit the ground, there was no pain like I had imagined. Nin Noyet, hurry and give me the dress. The voice of my ex-boyfriend, Sojung, rang in my ears. Don't give it to him, he's trying to deceive you. I heard Fo Lon Ton's voice echoing from afar. I found myself in a dilemma. I couldn't burn the dress. Who was really telling the truth? Just as I hesitated, the Sojung in front of me suddenly transformed into Thatch Tin. She had gotten the dress. Fo Lon Ton's expression momentarily revealed sorrow. Thatch Tin, stop it. You've already killed so many innocent people, your sister cannot come back to life. Thatch Tin's face was filled with madness, no longer resembling a human. What do you understand? It took me over 3 years to set up this situation. Right now, my sister can come back to life at any moment, and you want me to stop. She jumped off the building because of a man's betrayal, leaving behind a family that loved her. I won't let her die in vain. I want Sojung and his loved ones to pay a heavy price. She pointed at me excitedly. She's the 9th person. Once she dies, everything will end. Fo Lon Ton roared. Sojung is dead. On the 15th of last month, Sojung died in the car accident that you caused. Thatch Tin remained furious, confronting him fiercely. At that moment, I couldn't believe it and took a few steps back. If Sojung was already dead, then who was arguing with me? Was this real or fake? While I was still drowning in my doubts, I suddenly heard Fo Lon Ton's cold voice. As long as Lai Nin Noyet dies, your sister will come back to life, and you will stop, right? Thatch Tin's face lit up. Are you willing to help me? Of course. How can she compare to our relationship? If that's the case, I'll trust you this once. Thatch Tin actively handed the red dress to him. Fo Lon Ton approached me step by step like a ghost. He was chanting some incantation, and suddenly the red dress flew into the air, with a foul black aura spreading everywhere. I wanted to run, but my legs felt like they were filled with lead and couldn't move. I could only scream for help, but it was futile. Thatch Tin's face was filled with delight. If you had agreed to help me sooner, I wouldn't have had to struggle for so long. Fo Lon Ton circled around me 3 times, creating a ring of fire around me. When he finished the last circle, he suddenly turned and pointed at Thatch Tin's forehead, shouting, "Break." The smile on Thatch Tin's face suddenly froze. She screamed angrily, "You're so despicable. You're using the Tai Chi 8 trigrams formation to kill me? Unfortunately, my sister will definitely come back to life tonight. No one can stop me." As soon as she finished speaking, the ghost within her suddenly appeared. The ghost in the red dress with black hair had hollow eyes soaked in fresh blood, and rotting flesh crawled towards me. Wherever she crawled, blood followed. Thatch Tin first spat out a mouthful of blood, then her hair gradually turned white, visibly aging at an alarming rate. Just when the ghost was about to reach me, she suddenly let out a piercing scream and vanished from our sight. Fo Lon Ton calmly said, "The dress, along with the resentment trapped on it, has been burned to ashes. How could she come back to life?" Thatch Tin cried out in pain, tears streaming down her face, as if she were trying to grasp something. "No, don't, sister." In that moment, her eyes locked onto me, filled with resentment and unwillingness. "You will never be happy, don't ever expect to be happy." Finally, she turned into a pile of dry bones and disappeared into the sea of flames. It wasn't until everything around me fell silent that I turned to Fo Lon Ton. He released the forbidden technique on me. "I'm sorry for earlier. In such an urgent situation, I had to take the risk of using you as bait." Thatch Tin nourished her soul with blood. Her hands were stained with the blood of too many innocent people, and she had long been affected, turning into a female murderer. As a member of the Taoist Academy, I must eliminate threats to the people. I nodded, finally feeling my spirit gradually recover. After that night, Fo Lon Ton took me to the hospital because I had too many injuries. Lying on the hospital bed, my mind kept replaying what Fo Lon Ton had said. "What you've seen and felt are both real and fake. Besides Thatch Tin's illusion, you were also disturbed by your own inner demons. So Jung did nothing wrong to Thatch Tin's sister. They parted ways peacefully years ago. It was just that her sister became consumed by it, leading to her depression, which resulted in her impulsive decision to jump off the building. Let it go. So Jung died in the car accident on the 15th of last month. Under the dim light, I seemed to see the boy who had once said he wanted to hold a grand wedding for me. He took my hand and said, 'Nin noi yet forget me. Take a part of my happiness and go find your own true happiness.' As his figure gradually faded, I finally recalled the lost memories. That day was the day before the Qixi festival. We had planned to go watch a movie together. But he never showed up. I called and messaged him on WeChat, but he didn't respond. With no other options, I had to report it to the police. About 3 hours later, I received news of his death. I couldn't accept that result. In my confusion, I went to find Thatch Tin, weaving a dream for myself that my boyfriend and I had only had a fight. It turned out he had truly left me. Half a month later, I returned to Fo Lon Ton's livestream room. After he was still as humorous as before, telling ancient S. He would also suddenly become serious. I often asked him questions about sleeplessness. What should I do if I? He casually replied, insomnia. If you want to escape this state, keep yourself busy with work, studies, or X. At that, the host is giving vague answers. It's no different from others. Exactly, let's just solve it ourselves. A crow. I suddenly turned of. A few days later, I stabilize. One day, a new male colleague joined the company. He was handsome, warm, and courteous like a gentleman. He handled relationships with people very well and was the ideal boyfriend in the eyes of many. One afternoon, feeling bored, I curiously opened his profile account. To my surprise, it was that familiar landscape avatar. Just as I was about to exit, a flash of red caught my eye, sending chills down my spine. On the wall of his bedroom hung the familiar red wedding dress. The end.